everyone, welcome back to Better Biomed. Today I'm in St. Louis, Missouri, and I'm being joined by the folks at BC Group, and we're going to talk about the origins of this company. And let me tell you, it's truly an honor to be sitting amongst the people that have formed this industry, because I've used BC products since the day I began, and this is when we're going to sit down and talk about their business model. We're going to talk about the family-owned business and how they're going to move forward and be leaders in this industry. So folks, thank you very much for joining me. There's a lot of history sitting here amongst me. So we have Lucio, he's lead of engineering. We have Mel, who is the founder and the owner of the company. And we have Ken. And Mr. Ken is a pinnacle of the industry. Everybody knows Mr. Ken. So guys, thank you very much for joining me. Now, I have so many questions, and I know I've been pestering you guys for a while, but I really just want to know, how did this all begin? Because here we are. You guys have been in business for 35 to 45 years, as far as I know. So how long have you guys, when did this start?
Well, this is split because BC we acquired, so BC has a history of its own prior to our ownership. Lloyd, which is the parent company, we started in '81. That started as an engineering and a manufacturing company, and for a lot of years, continue to this day, we do private label manufacturing. So we design products for customers in a large number of industries, and then we manufacture those products under their labels. We did that up until the time we bought BC, and at that time we turned our attention, our R&D, onto the biomedical products. So BC existed as a company, was founded in '88, and again we acquired them in 2005, and so that was a combination of the experience and the great name that BC had, as well as all the people, and then we merged that together with our engineering and our manufacturing, and BC provided a marketing front end, calibration labs, and a worldwide exposure of the Biomed products. And so we took those, merged these two entities together. We still operate a lot of the business that Lloyd had, but we've turned our focus since that time to our engineering and our manufacturing into unique BC products. And that's our main focus as of right now.
Wow, that's amazing. Now, when I got here, I had no idea what type of company BC was, because my impression is always like a corporate entity. It's just how we are. And if you are going to succeed in today's day and age, you have to be a corporate entity. And then I found out that you're a privately held, family-owned business. And that just baffled me. So tell me about that. Your family is very involved with the business to this day?
The business is actually owned. The Lloyd, who owns everything now, is family owned. I have 3 children, and so myself, and there are obviously 4 families involved here. So the spouses are all on the board and so forth. But there are 4 families that make up the operation, and then we operationally, various members of the family are involved in different positions. I'm currently the president of the individual companies and generally the CEO, but the children have various roles throughout the company, and we'll obviously take it over and move forward with it. So that's the general structure.
Wow. So this facility here is absolutely beautiful, and what I've learned is that you guys have been in this facility for over 15 years?
Yeah, over 15 years, yeah.
Wow. Meticulous to detail. Like, even the bathrooms are gorgeous in this facility. It's true. I notice everything, guys. But one of the fixtures at this company has been Lucio, and I'm really curious. How long have you been with the company?
So I've been here for 30 years now. I started in the manufacturing department. I was cutting wires and crimping, making wire assemblies like we saw in the other videos. That's where I started, and I was in tech school in high school, and it was a perfect fit for me. And then I went on to college and got my engineering degree from Rolla, and I transferred into the engineering department. I've been here ever since.
Wow. Mr. Ken, who many people in the industry knows, he's also been with BC Group for as long as I know.
Since
I mean,
95.
okay. Wow, geez. All right, that's a long time.
31
So,
years.
when you were with BC and you found out that you were going to get bought out, was that a scary, intimidating thing?
Well, it's always frightening when you think your job is going to end and maybe have to work on resumes rather than sales. But the interesting thing is we had already formed a relationship with Bell's Group. They were doing some of our private labeling. So it was during that time period where Fluke was buying everybody out.
Yeah.
And when it was announced that the company was being sold, we immediately assumed that Fluke had bought us. And we were happy to hear that we were really merging with a family group that, very similar to BC Group, was a family-owned business too. That we were going to be able to merge sales, calibration, manufacturing, design, everything into one family. It was very, very exciting to be able to step into that role. BC Group really started back in '88 as a company that sold used test equipment. We'd refurbish it, we'd calibrate equipment. We started forging relationships with other manufacturers, selling their equipment. But we always had the interest in having our own product line. So we made one or two products where we put our label on it and said, BC Group now makes BC Biomedical Equipment. And that's where the logo came from, BC Biomedical. And the people that we had private labeling for us were getting bought up by other entities. So then we had to go to another one and have somebody else design it. So to finally wind up with an engineering firm that we could hand that little napkin to that said, we'd like something about that big that'll do this, it was perfect. It was just a perfect marriage.
Wow.
Yeah.
As we were walking through, I noticed that almost every single facet of development is being controlled in-house and is in some way being done in-house. So I'm just curious because that takes an immense amount of investment in reinvestment. And I mean, you guys, just amongst the years that y'all have here, we have 100 or some years. I mean, not the day, buddy, but
He's 100 years old, but none of the rest of
Not
us.
all within one body.
But I'm saying there's so many years worth of expertise, and when I say that you guys are one of the founders of the industry, that's because you guys have so many employees with many years of tenure. I mean, one employee had 40 years of tenure.
Yeah, our first employee is still here.
That's absolutely amazing because in today's day and age, most employees last 3 to 5 years, and that's actually being kind of gracious. So in our
He broke
industry,
the child hiring laws, by the way. He was only 3 when he was hired. So they're young kids when they started.
It's amazing how people have been retained and how that knowledge has been retained. And in fact, there's an actual hierarchy of advancement that I've noticed amongst your people because they all, even your son had to start somewhere, right? And now like he's working his way up. So you don't just give somebody a top position, I've noticed.
No.
I mean,
No, we prefer it. We all prefer. I mean that's who we are. You know, this is a company which I expressed to you before, which is a big family. It started out being just a family, then it got to be more people and more people and more people. But we treat it as one large family, and we've got 90. What did we say yesterday? 93 people.
Yeah.
So we have 93 people, but this is just a large family, and we treat it that way, which is a little unusual. It's an old style. It's the way companies used to be. That's the environment that I grew up in, and I enjoyed very much, and we adopted it, and that's how we do it. And so what you do in that family, like everything else, is you bring everybody along. You're better when everybody is better. And so you try to make everybody, and that in a family that maybe we got a lot of people that have worked in the company but aren't here anymore and have gone on to do other great things, which is wonderful. That's what a family does. You nurture everything and everybody, and it's to everyone's benefit. And so we got a lot of good people. You know, we have people who've grown from high school. We got people who get acquired along the way. We merged this whole cluster of people into something, and we allow people to grow. And that's part of what this business model is to, and like we always talk about, a business is about making money, but the money is necessary it's not the end goal. It's one of the tools that's used along the way to accomplish what you want to do. You know, and it's a little schmaltzy, but people don't want to just work for money. People people want to have something to do. You want to do something that's meaningful. Make the world a little bit better place. Make yourself a little bit better. Make your family better. And so this structure is designed to do just that, to bring everybody along and have everybody get to be the best that they can be. And that means that, you know, the people, obviously, you see along the way, that you talk about the kids. I mean, the kids come along, and that's part of the model. You go, you get your degree, now go work somewhere, and go. I want them all back in the company, and because those are your best people, all the people who come and stay. And but when you come back, bring something with you. Go learn something. Get smart. Make us better. Always make us better. And that's what we do with all of our staff and everybody, and it's worked very, very well for us over the years.
Well, you've built something that's absolutely amazing. It's privately owned, family-owned company, and the fact that everybody stays around, you've got 90-some families that depend on you. So you are supporting an entire community, if you think about it, of all different professions, all different origins. Everybody has all these experiences that come to one melting pot, and you produce medical test equipment. And not just any medical test equipment, it's a constantly evolving pool of medical test equipment where everybody has an idea, you can contribute, which is pretty amazing. I've heard some of the employees and how they've talked and stuff. And I even see, you know, outside, I see everybody playing outside. So all the employees like play together and stuff too. This is some stuff that I'm not used to. I mean, the guys for lunch are outside playing soccer and stuff with each other. So what an environment. It's been amazing. But I have to ask you, on your journey, because I know that you've bought up a couple different companies and they've added to your portfolio. Now, what were some of those companies, and how did you grow? How did you handle the growth, first off? I mean, that's crazy.
Well, BC was the largest acquisition. I mean, up to that point, we added things based on products and so forth. BC was an opportunity to bring on a lot of expertise, and again, a lot of good people came with that. And so, integrating those together into two companies were somewhat of a benefit in the fact that they were different entities. So we didn't have a sales force with Lloyd when we bought BC. So obviously there wasn't a matter of you know, letting people go or something. And we don't do that anyway. You know, we're just small companies. You have your acquisitions of people or whatever products, and then you work with that and you make it better and better and better. So that was a large one for us because both companies were about the same size at the time. So we did in the building that we're in right now. BC was in St. Louis, just like Lloyd was, or still is. And so we needed a building or facility that would allow us to come together. And that's also another way of handling it. How do you put two dissimilar groups together? Well, each one has a home and each one has a culture, if you will. Well, if you come to a new building and you all work on designing what this building is going to be, we all move to a new home.
That's interesting.
And so the idea is this is all ours.
Okay.
It's not, I didn't move into your home, you didn't move into ours. We moved into our new home together. And again, we designed it together. We said, well, what do we really need? How are things going to be different in the new facility? How are we going to manufacture? How are we going to plan for 20 years? And that was our goal. The building should be our need. Buy a building way too big that you didn't need that much space at the moment. But we're going to grow into this, and how large all the segments need to be. And then what are the needs of all the various staff and organizations? And you sort of did that together. And then you had fun doing it. I mean, we have, again, it's a family thing. And so you don't, you didn't put up four walls and everybody gets a desk and move in. You know, it's, what does the floor and the lunchroom look like? Okay, it's unique. It was designed. Do we have marble balls spinning around outside? Why do you have that?
That's so random. Yes.
Because it's unique.
Yes, it is.
And it's part of something that everybody can be involved in. So that's part of the merger process, And you do things like there are traditions that each company would have. Well, you take the best of those traditions and you merge those together. And so that's how we found that. So BC was that way. When we bought Omic, it was a little different.
Okay.
Omic was a company out of Maryland. The owner was time to retire, and he wanted to move on. Small operation, probably 10 people at the time, but had a reputation again. And what we look for is cultural match. So if you're all about money, that's not. We love money, but that's not what we're all about. Okay, we're all about people merging. We're about. Do you have the same idea of let's go do something? Not just get a paycheck, but let's do something with that. And so if Omic was that way, and what is your reputation in the field? Again, we're small, so when we're acquiring company, that company, we're going to inherit that reputation, and we want to make sure that reputation is the thing we like. And BC had it, Omic had it. You take care of your customers. You have a reliable product. You're going to be around for a long time. We want to move forward. We want to add new technologies, and so they matched that model, and so we struck a deal. And then we moved them from Maryland into here, but we kept that company because they had a reputation in the field, international reputation for what they did, and so we kept that name. So we did that's a DBA for us. That we run under still.
I did see that a lot of items are listed as Omic, and what's odd is it's the same Omic that I know of from back in the day. So that's amazing that you were able to maintain that legacy. That's very cool.
Yeah, and it is. And again, engineering gets a lot of credit for all these things that we do. They take on the responsibility of. I go off and buy a company and get a product line and say, "Now this is cool. Now make it better. Now make it ours because we have to manufacture it."
Where we have to redesign it because the parts that were in it were obsolete.
Right, which happens, and and of course they do a lot of that. I mean, to stay through, COVID has caused that as an issue, but we've had that all the time. Engineering has to continually keep the product up to date and then update it based on technology or based on parts availability or whatever it happens to be.
That is a perfect segue because I have to ask you. Getting involved in the manufacturing is an extremely expensive investment. It's an endeavor that most people would rather not do because you could see the advantages immediately by outsourcing and offshoring. But you have maintained, and if anything, you've grown in that field of being able to make small batches of things and to make your own custom parts that didn't exist before, or you're making parts for something that was retrofit so that you can maintain a product and its legacy. Why did you get invested into manufacturing? Because that is, I wish you guys could understand the amount of investment that takes to get into. It must have been almost scary, but at the same time, it must have been like a now or never type of situation because you've done it and you doubled down on it and tripled down on it, and
it was all. And we've got a long range plan. I mean, what we say as part of the model is, we should understand what our long range goal is, and the decisions we make today should be weighed against those long term goals. So does it make sense? Well, if the long term goal is to be a manufacturer, well then you better figure out along the way what you need to get to that goal. And going to a contract manufacturer to have your parts made, does that meet with your long term goal? And the answer is no. And also, we like toys.
Yes.
We're all a bunch of geeks. This is regardless of what sales will tell you, it's a sales company, but it's not.
You're a geek too, Ken.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
This is an engineering company. It was designed as an engineering company, and it literally, people enjoy working with things.
Yes.
Well, let's put it this way: people who belong here enjoy working with things. If that's your kind of thing, and you wanna say, I don't know how that works. Okay, well, let's go figure that out. That's what we do. That's the mindset that you want. And how are we going to capitalize on that? Or what we've done for years is we have an opportunity, but we don't understand part of that.
Okay.
So we pull in that additional expertise, and whether that's consulting services or it's us going off and experimenting to learn about what we need to add to what we know so we can make that product. And you can't do that unless you got the tools to do that with. And tools, as you say, are expensive. So how do you acquire those tools over time? And you do that by utilizing them. So if you've got, we have a pick and place line. Well, a pick and place line is outrageous.
I could
Okay?
imagine.
And especially if you've never run a pick and place line before. So that's how we go into it. We go into it from scratch. You then go, you buy what you need. You buy the best. You buy way beyond what you need because they're cool toys. And if you're going to have it, you might as well get the right stuff. And the machining operations the same way. Go buy the good stuff, and then figure out what to do with it. I mean, you obviously needed it to start with, so you don't have to start from scratch. But you lean towards that, and that's what engineering has, that flexibility too, because they understand what we're capable of doing. So we design into what we can manufacture with, and we have, or you can also physically do things in the design, knowing that, oh, I need a little part like this. Well, where do I get that? Well, I do my drawings up and I send it to the machining operation, and they make one of those for me. Or we 3D print them or whatever over time, whatever it takes. But so it's a mutually feeding thing, and you can support that because now the money that you were going to be paying to an outside company, you keep in-house, so you buy more equipment.
Okay.
And and of course, our particular model is we get ahead of that curve. So we're debt-free, for example. So we've started all this, and what we do is we add to it by plowing profits back into the company. And that keeps us going and doing what we want, but it also keeps us pretty risk-free. So if we decide to do something, we do it because we have the ability to do it. We have the financial assets to proceed with whatever it is we're going to do. And if we don't do that until we're ready for that. And that's where all the steps have happened along the way.
Well, you have a business model that I wish a lot of other American companies would take in, is that, you measure the risk, but you never go too risky. You always go on the safe side, not only for your own side, but also all the families that depend on you. Your decisions reflect on everybody and your community, obviously. So I'm really curious, where do you see BC Group going to the future? Because you've already invested into some of these next generation medical test devices that have touch screens, that have Bluetooth connectivity. Where do you see the company going, and how far on that path do you think you are right now? I know you guys are working on a lot of stuff.
Well, again, part of it is you want to give everybody something to do. Everybody wants a paycheck. We have to have money. We have to have all our sales and so forth. But you also want to do something. And so if you're going to acquire and keep good people, they're going to want to do something. And that drives us as much as anything else. We have to continually move forward to keep staff satisfied. People need more money. They need something different to do. They want to be a part of something. And so we continue to grow based on that. And what we do, we have a standard doubling policy. So we have a long range target. We put a target out there and we say, how do we get from here to there? And in doing that will allow us to fulfill all these other needs if we stay on that track. Exactly what happens along that path is a function of a lot of times opportunity.
Okay.
So a lot of times market shifts. And so, if I went back 5 years ago, would I be have any idea of how deeply invested we would be in Bluetooth?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe, but probably not. 10 years I wouldn't even known what Bluetooth was. And so
It's true.
You can't. So how can I sit here and say 5 years from now what we're going to be in? I don't know, because it probably doesn't exist yet.
Yeah.
But for all the reasons, both from a financial reason and from a business reason, but also from a desire reason, engineers want to be involved in whatever the next coolest thing is.
Yeah.
So whatever the next coolest thing is, we're going to be in, of necessity, because it's going to help, it's going to meet all the requirements for what we're looking for.
And that's why it's so important for us to be at the trade shows, to meet with you, bring in, we need that feedback from the biomedicals the groups out there that say, hey, we need this feature, we need that function. And being able to have the engineering in-house and the ability to do these things, you know, a patient simulator that was designed 10, 15 years ago, it doesn't have automation. It didn't need it back then, right? But the feedback we're getting is, I need a procedure. I need it in front of me. I need it available. I don't want to have to go look for my PM procedure. So that's driving the things that we're doing now and the features that we're implementing. And so, you know, that feedback path is what we need, and that's what's going to drive us in the future moving forward and moving on with new products and features.
Wow.
Some of the medical stuff really drives our industry, though, too.
Yes.
The medical advances, just for example, ESU. Back in the day, a simple ESU exam tester would handle whatever needs to be done. It gets to the point where the medical technology outstrips the features and functions that
Right.
we have in our testers.
We're playing
So
catch up.
they're coming up like the pulse waveforms for the ESU.
Mhm.
They didn't exist, 5 years ago even? 10 years ago?
Yeah, it wasn't that long ago, that's for sure.
Yeah. So it's an improvement on an existing product, or here's a new model that'll do that. So the next idea is not necessarily out there yet.
Yeah, right. And also, our goal is to listen to our customers. Okay, that's what drives us. So we don't sit around a room and say, well, I think this is what the industry needs, and we're going to go make that happen. We'd love to do that, but quite frankly, we're much better at letting our customers tell us what the requirements are. This is what I need. We will go off and maybe expand on what that is, but listening to what our customers want is what we specialize in, and always have. I mean, all the way back to the beginning. Our customers saying, if you made this, that would be wonderful for us. Or if we could have this feature, that would be great. And then, much to engineering's credit, I mean, we have come as far as we've come based on our ability to respond quickly.
Okay.
And so, when it comes to an opportunity, which is what we consider this customer feedback, it's an opportunity for us to either make the product better, make a new product, make it more desirable to the user. All those things are good for us, good for the user, and so why pass that up? And then we try not to, again, business is business, and all of this is driven by money. But that's not the forerunner of this. You don't start with the money. The money is what comes out of making a good decision. The customer says, I need this, we invest in that, we start making it, then we sell it. That generates enough money to go on and move on to the next idea.
Something that I learned from JPC when we got involved with them. You've been making that stuff for 40-something years for the chip industry.
Mm-hmm.
When we became the sales force for not just BC Group, but also their products, they're still supporting the first item they ever built.
Yeah, that's
People
wild.
are still out there coming back, and they're still supporting it. Well, they built that right into our product line too with BC Group.
Right.
Somebody that buys serial number 1 of our NIBP, and it comes out with a new feature, most of the time it can just be a software addition to the program, and they're up to the same level that everybody was that has the newest device. So they're standing behind their equipment long enough that the people, biomed departments don't have the overall budget that I'm sure radiology does and some of the other departments in the medical industry, but standing behind these pieces of equipment for years. We still support the first piece you ever made for us too.
You know, that's an interesting point. I didn't think about that until right now, is that many biomed shops have older BC equipment, and I mean, they're still using it to this day, but I can't tell you how many times I've seen like a chipped ECG post or something like that. You guys still support that. Like, if they ship it in, they will be able to put a new case on it, they'll be able to change out the ports, and they still support it, which is, you can't find it anywhere else that I'm aware of, because at a certain point, everybody has a cutoff. But because you guys manufacture, you keep a limited parts on hand. If not, you'll make more. That you guys have that ability. Because normally in manufacturing, you have a certain level of materials that you have to manufacture, and there's a minimum quantity. And once that's out, then you have a lead time before you can get another one. And that often never happens. Like, you'll burn out your existing inventory, and then you no longer support it. That's case in point for most manufacturing. But you guys have done an amazing job here. Folks, check out BC Biomedical. I'm going to leave a link to their website in the video description down below. You can check them out. And if you have any questions or if you need a medical device serviced, go ahead and contact them. I'll include their email address, include a photo of what the damages are. That way they can give you a better estimate. So thanks, guys. Lucio, Mel, and Ken. Guys, these are fixtures of our entire industry. You don't know it, but many of these guys had their hands on the equipment that you use every single day. And for me, I've been a Biomed for 21 years, and it's so insane that I'm sitting here with the people that manufactured the equipment that I used the day one that I started as a Biomed. That's crazy. And I'm absolutely honored to be here with you guys. Thank you very much, and thank you for everything you've done for the medical equipment technology
Thanks, Joseph.
industry. Thanks,
Yeah,
guys.
appreciate it.
All right, everyone, thanks for watching, and stay tuned. We're going to have more videos from BC Group because we have so many ideas. We're a bunch of nerds in a box right now, and we're trying to make as many videos as we can because we've got so many good joined ideas. So stay tuned.
If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more content. I'd love to hear your thoughts, so drop a comment below with what you'd like to see in future videos.